The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has confirmed that America will evaluate its remaining staff at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. America's hasty withdrawal from Kabul revives memories of the scenes witnessed in Vietnam in 1975. The evacuation of the U.S. Embassy staff in Kabul had U.S. military helicopters lifting off from the embassy grounds on Sunday. U.S. officials worked to keep sensitive material from falling into the hands of the Taliban. Black smoke was seen rising in air over Kabul as U.S. officials burnt all sensitive material at the embassy. Similar scenes were witnessed in Vietnam in 1975, but Washington is keen to play down any comparisons. Officials, it seems, want to avoid any comparison between the situation in Afghanistan and what was witnessed over 4 decades ago in Vietnam, which arguably remains America's biggest military defeat.
Let's take a step back. This is manifestly not Saigon. We're working to make sure that our personnel are safe and secure. We're relocating the men and women of our embassy to a location at the airport. It's why the president sent in a number of forces to make sure that as we continue to draw down our diplomatic presence, we do it in a safe and orderly fashion.
The pictures on your screen are from Saigon in 1975. These images show U.S. choppers evacuating staff from the rooftop of its embassy in Saigon. Considered America's worst military defeat, the U.S. lost 58,000 troops in the Vietnam War. In the end, the Communist North captured Saigon and renamed it to Ho Chi Minh City after their leader. Similar scenes are being witnessed in Kabul today. These images will haunt U.S. President Joe Biden. He had pledged not to let Kabul fall, as Saigon did in 1975.
There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being lifted off the roof of an embassy of the United States from Afghanistan.
Today, U.S. is evacuating all staff from its embassy in Kabul, just like it did in Saigon. It has lost nearly 2,500 soldiers and 4,000 contractors in this bloody 20-year war. Over 66,000 Afghan troops were lost, along with nearly 50,000 Afghan civilians. The Taliban suffered over 51 casualties. However, U.S. and its allies failed to land the crippling blow. Today, they are abandoning Afghanistan, evacuating their troops and officials as the Taliban flag flies over the presidential palace in Kabul. Despite the deteriorating security situation in Afghanistan, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues to defend Joe Biden, saying Biden saved lives by sticking to the August 31st troop withdrawal deadline, despite the Taliban blitzing across the country.
I would be on this program, in that instance, probably having to explain why we were sending tens of thousands of forces back into Afghanistan to continue a war that the country believes needs to end after 20 years, $1 trillion, and 2,300 lives lost, and success in achieving the goals that we set when we went in the first place.
The rapid fall of Kabul also exposes U.S. intelligence failure. It exposes how even after 20 years, Washington was unaware of the situation on ground. Barely 3 days ago, the Pentagon had declared that Kabul was not in danger.
Kabul is not, right now, in an imminent threat environment. But clearly, David, if you just look at what the Taliban's been doing, you can see that they are trying to isolate Kabul.
The U.S. presence in Afghanistan is now largely restricted to the Kabul International Airport. A few thousand troops are protecting the officials and aiding evacuations. Taliban has encircled the Karzai International Airport. Soon the last U.S. soldiers will leave Afghanistan, just like Saigon in 1975. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.